What's up, guys? All my notes. I hope you're ready to teen spirit, or in my case, senior spirit. Okay, first point. Guitars used on the Nevermind album. When I did Territorial Pissings, a lot of people were like, no, Aaron, the Jaguar wasn't there, and neither was the Mustang. That's actually not true. Did a lot of research. Butch said here that Kurt had his Jag and his Mustang, and then several Strats, I guess, with humbuckers. And I know a lot of people too think he had a Mosrite, that Gospel. He didn't have it on the Nevermind sessions because it was stolen before he got his Jag. I actually have the journal. Here's actually kind of cool story about when Kurt got his Mustang. He says, Chris and I were wandering around the campus one Saturday evening, and we came across this band playing. Inside we found 3 greeners jamming on bad psychedelic blues, because that's what greeners do on Saturday evenings. They showed us their new $200 worthless whammy pieces of shit Kramers and new Laney amps. I wasn't impressed. And then, over the corner, I noticed a left-handed, late 60s Fender Mustang. After swallowing my puke, I calmly asked if they wanted to sell it, and they said, oh, that old piece of shit? I don't care. $50? Chris entered the conversation and said, I don't know, man, it's pretty junky. Okay, $20. It's only pawn shop material anyways. It's nothing compared to our new Kramers. So, the Smells Like Teen Spirit guitar that just sold for millions and millions of dollars. Kurt bought it for $20 here in Seattle on a college campus. So here's a cool little tidbit about the Jag. Kurt says, things that have been taken from me within the past 2 months. 1. Wallet, driver's license, etc. $400, 3 guitars, including the Mosrite, all my Neato 70s effects boxes, apartment, and phone. But I got this really neato left-handed Fender Jaguar, which in my opinion is almost as cool as a Mustang, so I consider it a fair trade for the Mosrite. So that should answer any questions for anybody that thinks that there was a Mosrite on the Nevermind album. There wasn't. Just the Fender Jag, the Mustang, lots of Strats with humbuckers. So for the intro, I used my 1974 Mustang body with a Squire Jag neck on it and a single coil. That's really all that tone is. It's just that super bright single coil-ish kind of sound. So it would only make sense that it would have been the Mustang anyway. But after that, when the actual chorus, like when the distorted guitars pick up, this just didn't sound right to me at all. It was way too weak. It sounded too strummy almost through the DS1. So that's when I used my good old Jag for that, and it sounded really, really awesome. This has a lot hotter pickup. To me, it sounded right anyway. So I used my Jag and the Mustang. That's how Kurt recorded a lot of songs. They weren't always just like one guitar. A lot of times he used like a bunch of different guitars on one song. Which you're in the studio, why wouldn't you? So the other part of the secret for the intro is really that Bassman. Butch rented an old Bassman for the Nevermind sessions, and I did a ton of messing around a while back and bought these Bassman P10Q, Bassman P10R speaker impulse responses. Those are what you want. They're like really bright and chimey, and that's the moment I pulled those impulse responses up for those speakers, it sounded just like it. Yeah, and I don't have a real Bassman anyway, so doing impulse responses was the only way for me to get that. If I would have actually had a real Bassman, I think I would have been able to get even closer. I think, it would have sounded better with a real amp, just in my experience. I'm not really like an impulse response kind of guy. For the guitar distorted tones, the absolute secret, is an old 80s vintage 30. That's it. 100%. I tried like my old 12T75s from the 80s. There was a bunch of cabs that were rented for that session. Whatever cab was mic'd up for the Smells Like Teen Spirit, that was vintage 30s for sure. And I've had a lot of vintage 30s, a lot of newer ones that just sounded like shit. Honestly, Celestian shouldn't even be able to like call the new vintage 30s because they sound nothing like the old ones. So I recently got a 92 vintage 30 and put it in my cab, strummed some chords instantly, that was it. Didn't have to do any work or anything, it just sounded just like it. So that's the secret to that tone, really, is the vintage 30. I used my Randall Commander amp for this. I have a Mesa Boogie Studio Pre, which was what Kurt used in the studio, but I'm not using mine right now because I'm having a weird phenomenon where when I plug certain things into my cabs, my speakers don't sound the same anymore. The only thing that's been safe to use is my Randall. So I'm sitting here in a studio with like tons of gear and I'm scared to use any of it. If you want to know why, check out this video here. Why the tone creation videos have stopped. I explain my problem in detail, but yeah. Anyways, it doesn't even matter. The amp's not important. It's that damn speaker. So I just used my Randall Commander and it sounded just like it. As long as just whatever amp, just keep it really clean and get all your distortion out of your DS1. And I know a lot of y'all, I get asked a lot like, hey dude, will you compare old vintage DS1 to a new one? No, because they sound the same. There's no difference. So if you have a vintage DS1, that's cool, but the new ones, they don't sound any different. And trust me, like I would like for them to, because I'm a huge gear nerd that collects a bunch of vintage stuff. The new ones sound the same. Okay, moving on. The Solo. The Solo is actually the Jag neck pickup. I tried the Mustang neck pickup, didn't sound right. Tried the Bridges, definitely 100% not. It's this PAF right here in the Jag. If you just do the neck pickup, it sounds exactly like it. It's got that really round neck kind of tone. And yeah, I just went straight from my DS1 with these settings here, right into my small clone, which I had modded to sound like an original small clone. So by the way, if you want to see how to mod your small clone to sound closer to the original, just check out this video right here. I go in a lot of detail on how to do it. So other than that, that's really it. The V30 and having like an old vintage Bassman with those P10QR or P10Rs or whatever, I don't remember what they're called. But those are it. That's the secret to really getting that tone. So that's how you create Smells Like Adult Spirit. Then later on when I revisit this in like 20 years, it'll be Smells Like Senior Spirit. And actually I won't be a senior in 20 years. What am I thinking? Oh, and one last thing before I go, because I wanted to make this video quick, but I wanted to let everybody know, I've been noticing on all the comments in my videos, there's this guy impersonating me saying that you've won something or whatever and to contact him on Telegram. I don't have a Telegram. I've never used Telegram. That dude isn't me. So if you see any kind of stuff like that on any of my videos, just know it's not me. I reported him, but he seems to keep coming back. So there's a lot of scammers out there. Just anyway, be fairly warned, like don't fall for any of that. All right. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Pretty much, it's kind of the building blocks, honestly, for the rest of Nevermind. It's that damn V30. So if you see an old vintage V30, I'm gonna really regret that you're gonna buy it because I wanna buy more of them, but do it. Do yourself a favor, get that V30. They sound incredibly awesome. And I've been a V30 hater for so long, not anymore. I love V30s, if they're old vintage ones. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.